multiple levels of intelligence involved here, which has pointed to me for a very long while now as one of the prime reasons for eliminating a person other than financial is that they know something, or that they've walked in on you doing something or are aware of something and you have to get rid of them.
For over 90 days, the world has been searching for Nancy Guthrie. The 84-year-old mother of Today show anchor Savannah Guthrie vanished from her Catalina Foothills home on January 31st. A masked man ripped her Ring camera off the wall. Blood was found on her porch. Ransom notes demanded Bitcoin. But what if the entire abduction was a lie? What if Nancy Guthrie was never meant to be found alive? A bombshell new theory from forensic psychologist Dr. Gary Brucato is turning this case upside down. He calls it Elimination Murder, a phenomenon where the victim is killed immediately, and a secondary crime like a kidnapping is staged to mislead investigators. When a ransom note is written, the person isn't even with us anymore, Brucato told TMZ. That is a phenomenon that in my work I have called elimination murder. Today, we are breaking down this chilling theory. What is elimination murder? Why do experts believe the crime scene was staged? And who is the mastermind behind the curtain who knew Nancy Guthrie? Let's start with the evidence that doesn't add up. Dr. Gary Brucato is a renowned clinical psychologist and crime expert who has studied thousands of criminal cases. He has seen patterns emerge. One of the most disturbing is what he calls elimination murder. Here is how it works. In a standard kidnapping for ransom, the victim is kept alive. The kidnappers need proof of life. They need leverage. They need the victim to be breathing. But in an elimination murder, the victim is killed immediately. Then, a secondary crime, like a kidnapping, is staged to send investigators down the wrong path. The ransom notes are written after the victim is already dead. The demands for Bitcoin are a charade. Every piece of evidence pointing to an abduction is carefully crafted to hide the truth, that Nancy Guthrie was murdered, likely by someone she knew. Brucato outlined two possible scenarios for this case. First, it could have been an actual abduction attempt to collect ransom, but it didn't go as planned. The kidnappers panicked. Nancy died. Then they staged the rest to cover their tracks. But Brucato believes the second scenario is more likely. Someone who knew the victim wished to eliminate her for some reason, he said. That person created a charade to make a homicide look like an abduction. The person behind the curtain, Brucato says, is convinced to some degree, whether minor or major, knew Nancy Guthrie. This is not a random crime. This is personal. If this was an elimination murder, the crime scene should show signs of staging. And according to Brucato, it does. It is very typical for an elimination murder to create the impression that an outsider with no connection to the victim came in and did it, he said. Let's look at what investigators have found. First, investigators have ruled out common motives for home invasions. There is no evidence of sexual assault. There is no evidence of a simple robbery that went haywire. Nothing was taken from the home. Second, essential health-related items were left behind. Nancy needs daily medication. She has a pacemaker. She has high blood pressure. If this was a real kidnapping, why would the abductors leave behind the very things she needs to survive? Dr. Laura Petler, a forensic criminologist, has raised the same concern. She doubts whether the culprits ever intended to keep Nancy alive because they left all health-related items she needed at home. Third, the ransom notes themselves are suspicious. A second ransom note reportedly included the devastating phrase that Nancy had gone to be with God. TMZ also received a tipster note that stated clearly, "She is dead." If Nancy was alive when she was taken, why would her captors be telling the world she is dead? Brucato believes that at least two people were involved in this crime. A mastermind was behind the operation, potentially hiring others to conduct the physical abduction. The mastermind, Brucato says, knew Nancy Guthrie. This is where the speculation about family involvement comes into focus. Public scrutiny has heavily focused on Nancy's daughter, Annie Guthrie, and her husband, Tommaso Cioni. They had dinner with Nancy the night she vanished. Cioni dropped her off at 9:48 p.m. They lived close to Nancy's home, and the sheriff's department held onto their vehicle for forensic testing. While the Pima County Sheriff has publicly cleared the family as suspects, interest in the duo has continued. A self-styled investigator, Jonathan Lee Riches, recently claimed on X that Annie had asked Nancy for a loan before she vanished. He cited an unnamed source. "I'm told Annie asked Nancy Guthrie for a loan before she vanished from her home," JLR wrote. A financial angle is certainly plausible. Multiple ransom notes have demanded Bitcoin. The family is offering a $1 million reward. Investigators have said from the beginning that they believe they know the motive. Could that motive be financial? Was someone close to Nancy desperate for money? Former FBI agent Jennifer Coffin-Daffer has defended Annie and Tommaso, noting they appeared to share a good relationship with Nancy and were likely her primary help givers since they lived closest. But the speculation has not died down, and Brucato's elimination murder theory only intensifies it. The most tragic part of this theory is the implication for Nancy's survival. If this was an elimination murder, Nancy Guthrie has been dead since the night she vanished. Former FBI profiler Jim Clemente agrees. He has suggested that Nancy likely died early in the incident, possibly even before ransom negotiations began. Dr. Gary Brucato went even further in a separate interview on The Interview Room podcast. He said statistics in cases like this point to a grim outcome. "My sense is this woman passed away during whatever it was that was supposed to happen," Brucato said. He also said it is highly improbable that she is alive, based on the statistics. And he does not believe an intact body will ever be found. In 2026, you eliminate as much of the body as you can because you know the science is going to catch you. So what you generally do is you dismember, or you mutilate, or you burn, Brucato said. "I would be absolutely flabbergasted if it turns out there's an intact set of remains buried someplace or laying someplace." The entire six-member panel on The Interview Room agreed with Brucato. All six believe Nancy is deceased. All six believe her body is not intact. This is devastating, but it aligns with the elimination murder theory. If the goal was to eliminate Nancy, not to keep her alive, then her remains may never be found. The elimination murder theory changes everything we thought we knew about the Nancy Guthrie case. The abduction may have been a charade. The ransom notes may have been written after she was already dead. The person behind the curtain likely knew Nancy, and financial gain may have been the motive. Dr. Gary Brucato has given us a new lens to view this case. It is a dark lens. It suggests Nancy Guthrie has been gone since January 31st. But it also points investigators in a new direction. Look at who knew Nancy. Look at who had access to her home. Look at who needed money. The FBI is still processing DNA evidence from a single hair found in Nancy's bedroom. They are still reviewing hundreds of hours of footage. The investigation is not cold. But the elimination murder theory gives us a terrifying new reality to consider. What do you think? Is the elimination murder theory plausible? Does it point to someone Nancy knew? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for daily updates on the Nancy Guthrie case. We will continue to follow this story until justice is served. If you have any information about Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, contact the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI.